once in a while, we were lucky, we would go into New Brunswick. uh, from our section of town, it was easier to go to New Brunswick, because if we wanted to go to Perth Amboy, you had to get 2 buses. You had to transfer in South Amboy. So we used to go into New Brunswick. That was the big treat, to shop in some of the big stores there, or I guess that was about it. We would go in shopping every once in a while. That was a big treat. The bus, well, when I first started working, bus to work, everything. Anything you did was by bus. And actually, I even got a bus to high school. That wasn't that far from the old Wilson School, was where I went to high school. We were bused because it was, I guess, a dangerous route at that time. It was all woods from Pulaski Avenue to Wade Street. There weren't all the houses in Walden. We weren't allowed to walk there alone or to school. And they gave us bus tickets, and we got a bus to school. It was the public service bus. You got on the corner, and you got off at the corner of Quaid. We probably could have walked it as fast, or if we missed the bus, I think we could still make it, but you just weren't allowed to walk through the woods then.
Like,
What did Route 18 look like? Well, it was a 3-lane highway. You went north or south, or the suicide lane in between. That was your passing lane. And you could pass from either direction. It truly was suicide. It wasn't specifically a turning lane. You just, if you wanted to pass somebody, you waited and hoped nobody was coming the other way, and you passed them. I mean, I wasn't driving then, but I still do remember that. And it was really quite something. So I remember Route 18 being that way, and at that time they put in overpasses for turns. You didn't have to turn, you could go over the highway, you didn't have to turn off. You had your life in your hands when you drove down there. But of course there weren't as many cars as there are now. A lot less. And I do remember them building the turnpike when that went in. Not too much about it, but I was young at that time. And even the circle, 18 when you went to New Brunswick, where 18 and 1 intersect, it was a total circle. Call it a circle, a roundabout, or whatever they call it anywhere. And that too was a disaster. I mean, you could get lost on that and go round and round. And then finally they cut through the circle and put through the highway and traffic lights so that you had to stop. And then after that they put in the overpass. But I do remember it as being a circle. The old Howard Johnson's was up there. You always went up to Howard Johnson's for ice cream on the circle. But the highways have improved somewhat, but they've gotten so many more cars on them now that I don't know that it's such an improvement. Oh, very definitely downtown. Yeah, everything was downtown if we were going to go. Well, the big one was Greenfield's department store. They had anything and everything you wanted, all your clothing and things, and Borough Hall. Of course, the library was downtown. Hardware store. Remember the old hardware store? And like an ice cream parlor, a couple of ice cream parlors. The old Red Mill was one of them, and Al's and Fran's, and Newhouser's, and they were sort of hangouts. Oh, the movie, the old Colony, yeah. The Colony was there. You did have a movie house. What was it? The A&P was across the street. There was something there. There was on the corner of Dane Street, there was a supermarket of some kind, which we didn't use from our end of town too much. I'm trying to think of what else was there. And I'm sure they had I know they had a couple of butcher shops there too. I think the closeness of the neighborhoods, where the neighborhood you just knew everybody and everybody cared about one another. I don't think they'll ever see that again. Because they all work together or similarly, and nowadays that it's people just don't they they don't work in town. You worked in town. Your time was your own. You had a lot of time and more family time. And now it seems, with everybody spread out, you just don't have that real closeness anymore.